happy welcome to the Rewilded Leader podcast. My name is Shanne. I'm your podcast host, fempreneur life coach, and the rewilding expert. This is a place for female leader, fempreneurs, and women in business who wants to say goodbye to their stressful life and instead feeling fulfilled, joyful, and light on a daily basis. Through personal experiences and different point of views and evocative statement, I motivate you to discover your truth and embody it on a daily place. Hello and happy welcome to another episode on the Rewilded Leader podcast. This episode will be very special because I didn't come in with a certain topic for today. I actually have different things that my heart wants to speak about, and I'm gonna bring that into this episode and also include a lot of my personal experiences right now, my personal feelings and thoughts, and also the process I am in right now. So this will be very connecting, very true and very authentic, this episode. And that also goes in today's topic with that connection, because I felt that this year I longed for much more deeper connections. This summer was the first time I actually was able to hug in person my long-term one-on-one client. And not only one time, but several times. I spontaneously invited another client I had in my human design reading to a coffee shop and to talk together for a half an hour and then going our way, well, very spontaneously. That was so nice. And I also had the chance to see another long-term friend I never saw before in real life, to have breakfast together and to talk about so many beautiful things and to really be with that person, with that friend for the first time in real life. And all these experiences and also much more showed me that it's so different for me as who I am to have that one-on-one connection with people and to not have actually what I have right now, to speak into a camera, into a microphone, and to just talk and not to discuss. So that was also at the same time that I started a little bit to look at Instagram with a critical eye. Even though I've spent the first 1.5 years of my business to market my coaching only through this platform, like really only, I noticed that today it doesn't feel coherent anymore. It seems to get more and more an addictive, illusory world that floats us with information and at the same time drag down our self-esteem while increasing self-judgment. And I'm talking about that because I see that many people experience the same thing at the right moment. I also talked with other coaches who really gained a lot of money also through marketing on this platform, but they feel like there's something that changed now, that is something they feel that have to change how they do business and how also they use Instagram. And especially through my experience I made during this September, I feel that there is also another way. Because I have to be true, before there was that belief in my mind that only through Instagram I can attract customers and become successful. And as a digital nomad, I depend on that platform. There is no other way. And I know that because when I started my own journey, before I get a coach, before I started my business, everything I bought, everything I consumed was on Instagram. For me, as I were a client, everything happens on that platform. So there is where you know about courses, where you know about a podcast, where you know about mentorings, and so on. So it's sure that for me, when I started my business, there was just that. It only exists that platform. And yeah, of course, you can use Facebook. Of course, you can use a podcast or YouTube or whatsoever. But in the end, there is only Instagram that will work. Yeah, it's very interesting to look back like that. But this really was something that held me back to do also other stuff or to even question myself. And that's the more important part. To question myself, Shanne, what would you like to do? What is your specialty? Is it speaking? Is it writing? Is it like the language of images or videos? What is it that you love to do? What would you like to do? But instead of asking myself this question, I was there like, okay, Instagram only works well when you have like super fast videos, reels with trend sounds. It has to be 7 seconds. It has to start with a catchy hook or with a movement or whatsoever, you know. And I also I always find myself trying to adapt to that and also stay true to my nature, to who I am, to my inner truth. But it was always that balancing act. And in the end, it was a compromise. I compromised my truth to suit and to be able to market on that platform. Until this August, when I made that beautiful experience. I also made a post about that on Instagram later on, but I'm gonna explain it now. In July, I said to myself, okay, Shanne, now you're gonna do everything they ask for as much as possible to be able to get more clients, to get more views, to grow your audience, and therefore have people who are, who are listening to your voice, to what you have to say, that like your comment, your post, and so on. Well, honestly, for 1 month, I worked every day on my content, and it was so exhausting. I was so bitter. I felt so bad. And I think I posted up to 5 times a week. And it was so not me. It was so not me. Even though I had that aim too, to stay true to myself and to really bring my soul into that content, even though I follow certain rules, some certain strategies and so on, it has to be me inside of that frame. But honestly, I was just so empty. I was empty. I was bitter. I didn't want to continue anything. And I did that for 1 month. And after that, I said, okay, no way. No, I can't do that anymore. I'm hurting myself. I'm hurting my energy. I'm hurting my uniqueness with what I am doing right now. So I looked back at that 1 month of July to analyze a little bit. And I also realized that while I was keeping up with that with that rules, I had just no energy left for clients or for creating other products, or no matter what. I was just like 100% in that marketing, in that Instagram marketing. So during that time, even though I had a reach on Instagram over 2,000 or even more, I think it was even more, there was really a lot of people who saw my content, I have 0 new clients. And I feel bad, I feel exhausted, I was just, boof, 0. And then August came, and after this experience I made in July, I really felt that I need to I need to change something. And I didn't knew what I want to change and how I want to change. But there was that one friend of mine. Thank you so much again. And she asked me, Shanne, if there is like, you have everything, if you would have everything, all the money, all the support, everything, how would you market your business? What would you do in your business? And my answer to her question showed me so good that I am doing exactly the opposite of what I would like to do, what my soul screams to me, what I want to do, and what my uniqueness would love to do, what my energy would be able to do as well. So I said, I do not remember exactly how I said it, but it was sure that I said, I will make a podcast. I will sit under the trees and just journal for myself, reflect, make space, meditate. Then I would get in connection, like through, I don't know, workshops or one-on-one. Like, you're sitting in a coffee and then you speak with someone and you get into contact and what. And like that, clients would enter into my room by being me and not by shooting or by posting on Instagram daily or whatsoever. And my response to that question really made me think. So I decided to do the complete opposite in September and also a bit in August. So my reach dropped badly on Instagram. I think I had like, I don't know, 100 or something, not even 100, because I posted not a lot. And I even had 1 week I didn't post anything, not even stories. And I mean, when I look back in the last 1.5 years, this is rare that I didn't post a story for such a long time without saying that I'm not gonna post anything. But I was just there, no, I do not feel like, I'll let it be. And I did that for 1 month. My reach dropped very badly. And I gained 6 new clients. And I felt so good in this month. I spent a lot of time meditating, being with myself, journaling, being in nature, seeing friends, meeting friends, talking with these people. And really, I nourished my soul and I followed my inner strategy instead of keeping up with these other rules. And that experience to see that because I made space also energetically to embrace and to receive clients and to be able to hold space for them because I am doing good, that helped me so much to understand, wow, there's another way. There's another way opening. So that was the whole experience I had in this September I wanted you to talk about. And what I explain here right now is actually a part of my own rewilding journey right now. It's about uncovering these old beliefs I had and also these old patterns, how I worked. And then to take these limitations and to figure out what I really want, how I really want to live my life, and then put them away, let them go, and decide to walk the path of my inner truth, of my soul, of my uniqueness, of my values. If you want to know more about the rewilding journey, what it is and what it means, so I invite you to skip back 1 episode. The 6th episode of this podcast, of the Rewilding Leader podcast, is all about the rewilding journey and how also you can start your rewilding journey by your own. So I'm going to take you through the whole process of how to become a rewilding leader. So yeah, go and enjoy it. Since a moment I feel that I'm gonna talk about what I just said about Instagram, about my own rewilding journey, what's happening, what I realized, and about that other way that is opening up right now. And today I woke up, I stayed in bed for a long time just thinking. There were so many thoughts and inspirations and downloads coming to me. And when I get up, I was taking my little drink I always drink every morning. And I sat outside on my balcony. The sun was shining directly into my face, warming my skin. But at the same time, there was that fresh autumn air. It was really nice. It was really a nice moment. And I took my journal and I write things down. And I would love to invite you to that reflection I had this morning, because it suits very well what I just said in the beginning of that episode. So let's come to my morning thoughts. This morning I said to myself, Shanne, what if everything that you long for right now will not happen? And here I actually invite you to go on that journey with me. So whatever you do, take a little pause, take a little break. You can also take a moment to take a deep breath to arrive in that present moment. I know that you are here where you are because you're longing for something. I'm sure that there is a goal in your future that you want to achieve. I do not know what it is. Maybe it is to be financially independent. Maybe you want to buy your own house or create your own house. Maybe you want to go travel. And maybe you want to retire at the age of 40, or I don't know. But for sure, you have goals. You have goals. And whenever we have goals, we also have the fear that we cannot achieve that goal, or that we will exactly achieve the opposite of our goals. And for this exercise now, I would invite you to imagine that worst case scenario. What is the thing that you do not want to live at all? What is the opposite of your goals? What would you don't like to experience? Then imagine that no matter what you are doing now, no matter what your decisions are right now, no matter how you feel, who you know, how much money you have, no matter what, imagine that at a certain point in your future, this worst case will arrive. And you cannot change anything about that. You cannot change if it's happened tomorrow or if it's happening in 4 years. It's that fixed date, and this worst scenario will come at that moment. So it's really important to understand for this exercise, you cannot do anything against that worst scenario. So when you imagine that you come to that point, you cannot change anything, or you cannot even think that, oh, if I would have decided this or that way, I wouldn't be in this situation right now. No. So it's really imagine you for that exercise that there is nothing you can change, that this is something that your soul want to experience, and you're gonna be in that situation, in that experience of having no money, of having no relationship anymore, of having no impact whatsoever. So now you know that no matter what you do for this exercise, it's not true, it's really that exercise. No matter what you do, you will come to that worst case scenario. But until that worst case scenario, you have time, you have energy, you have money, you have whatsoever. You have all the potential and all the capacity. And now the big question. What would you change in your life? What would you do different? How would you feel? How would this impact the work you do? How would this impact the relationships you have? How would that impact your daily life? And also what you're doing with your life right now? What would you focus on? And the big question, what would be different from how it is now? And this is so interesting. When I wrote that down this morning, these questions, I realized that some days ago, I asked a similar question to two of my loved ones. And I asked them, if you can change everything you want, how would your life look like tomorrow? What would be different when you wake up tomorrow morning, in the external but also in the internal world? What would be different? And all the responses from these two people, but also my own response, break down a little bit to the same thing. Even though we used other examples, even though we used other pictures to draw that, it was in the root, was so much about trusting ourselves, not having so much doubt anymore, and to live our dreams already now. And in the external world, there was much about connection, to be surrounded by people who think, who feel, and who aspire the same goals, the same aims that we do. That's so interesting, isn't it? And when we answer these questions from the exercise, but also the second one I just talked about, and I really recommend you to answer them because you can gain a lot of clarity about your life and about the things what you're doing right now that are not so healthy and not so aligned with yourself. Then the big question came up, why do we don't follow that way? Why do we don't follow that path that we feel the most aligned with our heart, with our being? And the answer is that we learned that it's not safe. That it's not safe to trust ourselves, that it's not safe to go that unique path because it is different from what society tells us. It's different from what family members told us. And it's maybe also different from what your mentor or what the social media expert or that coach that gained 100K in a month tells us. So it's different. And that is why, or actually when we break it down, it's because of our self-confidence that has a lack. The lack of self-confidence that make that we are not trusting in that way. And also because we think that it may turn out bad in the future. When we think about the exercise we did before, they were sure that this worst case scenario will happen. But in real life, it's for sure that this worst case scenario does not have to happen, and we don't want it to happen. But the problem is that we think that when we do it in the way, when we live life in the way that everybody else lives their life, we are secure, we are safe that this worst case scenario will not happen. So we try to look up on persons or on people who embody our goals, who embody what we want to live, and we try to do the same as they did. But the problem is that we forget about our uniqueness, we forget about our own energy, and we forget that we are not this person, we are not this human being, we are different. And when we blindly adapt to all the strategies they provide or the path they went, and we try to follow the same path in the same pace and in the same way, then we will realize that it will not work, and we're actually guiding ourselves into that worst scenario. Because we're gonna live that deception, we're gonna live that feeling of exhaustion and frustration. And here another story came into my mind. It's about working as an employee in Switzerland. So, without getting too political or to talk too much about laws and so on. Just a little base. So in Switzerland, when you start working after your studies or after school or whatsoever, it's normal that you work until 65 or 64 or something like that. You know, I'm not so into that anymore. But it's normal that you work until the age of 65 or something today. But some years ago, and I mean when my grandparents were 30 or 40 or whatsoever, it was different. At that moment, it was clear that you work until 61 or 62 or something like that. But with the years they were working, this age increased. Because that's not no, because it's too complicated to go too much into that. Please don't take every word too serious here, because I do not know the numbers very well. But imagine that you're doing a job because you're looking for retirement. You're doing a job just because you want to gain that money, and you have to gain that money because you have to look at your family and so on. So you do not especially like your job, you're just doing it and you're into that, and maybe you think at the age of 50, okay, it's so amazing, I have 10 years to work and then I'm done. And then suddenly a new law came up and okay, now you have to work 4 years more. And I mean, when we put ourselves in this situation, this sucks. It really sucks, because there are 5 or 4 years more that you have to work in a job that you do not especially like, and suddenly your aim or your goal, what you're working for, fell back 4 years without you able to do anything. You just have to follow that. So the only thing that you can do is to get grumpy, to get frustrated, and to hate the system. No, I'm joking. But this is just an example of something that we experience really in this daily life. And this can happen with every goal we have. So maybe if you say, okay, I'm working now as like a fool to buy my dream house, and you already know which house it is, in 2 years. So you work, and maybe 2 days before you have all the money in your pocket, you can buy this house. Somebody else bought it. Maybe you're working without stopping right now because you say, in 3 years, I want to get pregnant. I want to be mother. I want to take care of a family and all of that. So you're working, and then you're so in a stress, you're so in a hurry, you're so under pressure, and you have a car accident. And after that car accident, you learned that you're not able anymore to get children. I'm sorry for these examples. They are not so shiny and bloomy, but it's life. That can happen. We never know what's gonna happen. And life always holds surprises for us. And life is also always guiding us in the direction that we really should go. So maybe when this accident happened, it was just a sign of life that you're going too fast, And for sure, if this is your aim to be mother, or if it's your wish to be mother, I do not even want to think about or to talk about or to try to imagine how painful that has to be to learn something like that after an accident, or learning that, to know that you cannot get children. But what I want to say here is that life has its own plans, and we can follow these plans by allowing ourselves to be fulfilled and joyful in that moment right now. Or we can just let our head, let our ego, let our beliefs, our limitations decide our life, because we think there is just that one way, like I did with Instagram. There's just that one way, so I have to follow, and I deny my truth, and I run in this direction without asking anything or without questioning anything. And in the end, I'm here, I have 0 clients, I'm burned out, and I'm just unhappy with my decision. So I start doubting even more myself and fall back in my personal worst case scenario that would be working as an employee right now. Oh, is that really the worst case? I don't know. It changed a little bit. But what I want to say with all that, what I explained to you today, is that rewilding is so important. For me, it's very important to mention here that also I am not completely through that process. I don't know yet what exactly my future on social media would look like, or how I'm gonna deal with Instagram or whatsoever. But as I already mentioned in the beginning of this episode, is I long for more deep connections. Therefore, I also show myself 100% authentic and vulnerable and on the journey, because I am on that journey, even if I still do not have figured out everything. I know that I made some steps. I overcome and mastered some parts of all that journey. And exactly in these steps, I am here to support you with my full passion. So when it comes to rewilding, when it comes to analyzing what is my truth, and to question what do I want to let go, or what do I have to let go to finally live aligned and enjoy and fulfillment and feeling that harmony within myself without running for an external goal, which will maybe not being able to realize because what I just explained. This is exactly what I help with. This is exactly what I know how to deal, because it's all about letting go. It's all about inviting what you really want. And also, as you saw in the exercise, it's about inviting it now. And I know how easy it is to get lost on this journey when you are alone, because I also tried it. Didn't work out so well. So whenever you feel that you're ready or you're longing for support on your personal rewilding journey, and you feel ready to embody already now the life you want to live, the life you long for, then I invite you to join my work. You can go to my website and find out how we can work together. And the one thing, the big thing for the end of this year is that there are 2 spots, the last 2 spots opening for this year. Starting December, the mentoring TLL, the Liberated Leader Mentoring, that will exactly guide you on this rewilding journey back to a life that feels not only good, but right, aligned, and fulfilling. I love it. I'm so happy that you joined me today on this episode, on this very personal and also flowy episode through what's happening right now. And I would love to know how you're feeling about everything I talked about today. So when you want to mention, when you want to leave a comment or in Spotify under the episode in this beautiful Q&A box, and just let me know what's happening in your life. I love that deep connection. And yeah, so you have all the links you need in the bio, and I wish you now all the best. Have a lovely Tuesday. I send you so much love. All the best on your rewilding journey. Let's get wild, honey.